From WREL News and the Capital Broadcasting Podcast Network, this is your Coronavirus, North Carolina News Brief for Tuesday, April 21st, 2020. I'm Cliff Baumgardner. Here's the latest from WREL.com. Today, Governor Roy Cooper said he is developing a plan to ease restrictions under his stay-at-home order, but he said the changes must be made in a staged, responsible way. About 1,000 people took part in the Reopen NC protest in downtown Raleigh today, calling for restrictions to be lifted by May 1st so businesses can resume operation. But the state has continued to stress that more testing is needed before North Carolina can reopen. On average, North Carolina is testing about 2,500 cases a day, but state health officials say that number has to be higher. As for a timeline, Department of Health and Human Services Secretary Dr. Mandy Cohen said it will likely be weeks, not months, before the state reopens. Cooper said he plans to announce changes to his current stay-at-home order later this week and may also announce plans for public schools, which are closed through May 15th. The governor also said he is working with state lawmakers on a three-pronged budget proposal that would address immediate public health and safety needs, fund schools and other core state government services, and provide assistance to small businesses and local governments. He said he would recommend funding for more workers to trace contacts of virus patients, food for schools, and other assistance for schools as they teach online. At the same press conference, the governor said he has signed an executive order to make furloughed workers eligible for unemployment benefits.
We know that this virus is taking a toll on our economy and on our workforce, and we can't lose sight of how this virus is impacting our families in North Carolina.
To date, the state has paid about $580 million in benefits to 257,000 people since mid-March, the vast majority of whom lost their jobs because of coronavirus-related shutdowns. Today, Assistant Secretary of the Division of Employment Security Lockhart Taylor told lawmakers that a federal program to pay unemployment benefits to self-employed people and independent contractors should go live in North Carolina on Friday. This will let people who don't typically pay the state's unemployment tax and thus aren't usually eligible for benefits draw down weekly payments backed by the federal government. Taylor's division has taken some 690,000 unemployment claims since March 16th. That's roughly 13% of the state's civilian workforce. The law also requires people to file weekly certifications to keep getting benefits. Though many have complained of problems reaching DES call centers and at times filing online, House lawmakers from both sides of the aisle complimented Taylor and his team today. The state has gone from some 3,200 claims a week in 2019 to nearly 20,000 a day. State Supreme Court Chief Justice Cheri Beasley has issued an emergency directive ordering North Carolina magistrates to continue to perform marriage ceremonies in accordance with appropriate social distancing practices. The directive allows the Chief District Court Judge in each county to restrict the times during which the ceremonies are conducted and restrict attendance at the ceremonies. North Carolina magistrates perform about 25,000 marriages a year. In recent weeks, with many wedding venues closed, couples seeking to be married brought large groups of witnesses and attendees to local magistrates' offices to be married there instead, prompting several counties to cease performing marriages altogether. Wake County magistrates resumed performing marriages yesterday. Lastly, Burlington-based health services giant LabCorp has announced it will begin selling an at-home test for the COVID-19 virus after receiving emergency authorization from the Food and Drug Administration. Called Pixel, the test will cost $119. The test will include collections of specimens via nasal swabs. However, consumers will be able to buy the test only if recommended by a healthcare provider and after they've filled out a questionnaire. This has been your Coronavirus North Carolina News Brief for Tuesday, April 21st, 2020. As always, if you like the information and resources you get from this show, let us know by leaving a rating and review on whatever podcast app you use. And while you're there, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss our new episodes. Thanks for listening.